Hello, welcome to Bob's Dungeon. My name's Bob, I'll be your host. There have been many games for tabletop role-playing come out based off of movies. West End Games, by far, has, when they were a company, made more games based off of movies than any other company has. They had the role-playing game for Ghostbusters, which used the D6 system, and then they came out with the first role-playing game for Star Wars, which also used the D6 system. And then they had a bunch of games tied to their Master Book system, which consisted of Tank Girl, Indiana Jones, Species, and even the Tales from the Crypt TV show. But what we're going to talk about in this video is one that you might not know that they've done, is they did another D6 game for the Men in Black movie. And that's what we're going to talk about. The Men in Black role-playing game. This book has 136 pages and a copyright of 1997. It was published by West End Games, and all of the artwork in this book is in black and white, and it goes back and forth between black and white stills from the movie and actual artwork for the book. So let's go ahead and look at that artwork. All of the artwork in this book is in black and white, and it uses both original art and black and white stills from the movie itself. The original art may be a little cartoonish, but I feel it adds something to the overall game. To play this game, what you're going to need is, of course, a copy of this core rule book and as many six-sided dice as you can get your hands on. Character generation in this game is pretty easy. You start with your attributes, and there are 8 attributes in this game, and it uses the D6 system, like I've said. The 8 attributes are reflexes, coordination, endurance, strength, knowledge, perception, confidence, and charisma. And you get 24 dice to split up amongst them. The way that works is, being a human in this game, your minimum score has to have 2 dice in it, and you can go no more than 4 dice. So you have to put at least 2 dice out of that 24 in each of the attributes, and you have some to bring some up to higher scores. You can even break the dice up into what is called peps. A pep is a +1, and the way that works is if you break a die into a pep, you get 3 peps per die you break, and you can put those peps on any of the attributes that you wish. So you can have an attribute score of 3D +1 or 2D +2, or however you wish to do it. After that, you get 7 points to split up amongst skills, and you choose your skills. Each of the skills are tied to an attribute. So when you put a die in a skill, the value of that skill is equal to however many dice you put in that skill and the attribute itself. So like if the attribute is 3 and you put 1 die into it, the attribute is worth 4. And again, you can break those dice into peps, and you get 3 peps per die. You also get 5 character points at character creation. Character points are used for a variety of different things. The first thing they're used for is during gameplay, you can spend a character point, and for each character point you spend, maximum of 2 per round, you can add 1d6 to any roll that you're making. The other way it's used is to increase your skills. And when you get enough character points are your experience, basically. When you get enough character points saved up, you can buy a new pep in a skill. And the peps go pep 1, pep 2, next die. And that's how you increase your skills in this game. After that, you get 1 fate point for your character. And a fate point kind of works similar to a character point, except you can only spend it when making a roll. And when you spend it for that roll, you get to double the amount of dice you roll, which is pretty cool. After that, you figure up your body points, and your body points are equal to 20 plus an endurance roll. And that's your body points. Your body points are basically your hit points. Then after that, your character has a base speed of 30, and your character's pretty much created. You then get equipment, and it tells you what the standard MIB agent gets for equipment in here. And you name your character, which basically you give your character a normal name, and then you hack off everything but the first letter. And then that's your agent. But like I said, it uses the D6 system. The D6 system's pretty easy to use. You pick the skill or attribute that you're going to use for the check. Let's say you're using firearms to shoot something, and you have 3 dice in firearms. So you'd roll 3 6-sided dice, and you'd add them together for a total, and compare it to the difficulty chart that's in here, and it tells you whether you succeed or failed. Now, the thing to bear in mind is, with the D6 system, one of your dice you should roll as a different color die. That die is indicated as a wild die. It functions exactly normal as a regular die, and anything you roll is added to your total. But if the wild die rolls a 1, you then subtract your 1 that you rolled on that die plus the highest die of the remaining dice, and that's your penalty for rolling a 1 on the wild die. If you roll a 6 on the wild die, then you add everything up, you roll that die again, and add whatever it rolls to the total. If you roll a 6 again, you keep rolling until you no longer roll 6, and each time adding it to your total. So you can get a pretty good roll if you're lucky. And that's pretty much the mechanics of the D6 system. And this book has everything you need to play the game. It talks about the Men in Black agency and how it functions, what they do, what your job as a player character is. It gives backgrounds and stuff on few key members and stuff. The game master in this game is called the director, and of course, because the guy in charge of the Man in Black is the director. Go figure. And that's pretty cool. The book also has a chapter devoted to equipment, and it goes over all kinds of wild equipment that you would find the Men in Black agents using. Everything from neuralizers to the noisy cricket. It's in here. It's even got their vehicles. It's even got a collection of aliens that your characters could run into. And it's even got some named aliens, characters from the movie and NPCs specifically made for this game that you can run into and use. The back of the book has a character sheet that you could photocopy and use. And it's also got an adventure that you could use and modify for your needs to get you going. So that's pretty cool. But all in all, it's pretty neat. I also have the director's guide for this game. The director's guide has 62 pages and a copyright of 1997. Also published by Westing Games. All of the artwork in this book is in black and white as well, and it once again goes back and forth between pictures of the movie and artwork made specifically for this book. So let's go ahead and look at the artwork from this book. All of the artwork in this book is also in black and white. But unlike the other book, almost all the pictures in this one are black and white stills taken directly from the movie. Except for these really weird, super deformed characters that keep popping up all throughout the book. Seriously, these guys are everywhere. Now, if you could just look at the little light here, you really enjoyed watching this video. This book is pretty much a companion for the other book. It's not needed, but it is pretty useful. It basically details in more description what the Game Master will do in the game. Gives you some tips on creating game sessions and adventures. It has some notes in here on creating new aliens for your characters to run into, bits and bobs to spice them up a bit. It's even got notes in here on how to create new equipment that the characters could use, new alien devices that they could run into. It's even got a list of brand new equipment that you can add to your game. And it's pretty decent. It's got a lot of good notes for being a game master in this game. Also, the cover of the book comes off and folds out to be a game master screen. And it's got different charts and notes and stuff that you'll need most often in the game, like difficulties and stuff like that. So that's pretty neat. And that's pretty much all there is to it. Which brings me to 3 questions. Would I play a character in this game? Absolutely. It's a comical game, so, you're going to have fun with it. It's a D6 system, so it's easy to go. Would I run this game? Absolutely. And I have run this game. It's been a long, long time, but I did run it for a while. Just a few adventures. But it's pretty nifty. Would I recommend this game? Yeah, I would recommend this game. If you like the Men in Black and would wonder what it's like to be an MIB agent, then this would be a pretty good game for you. Plus, it's a D6 system, and I love the D6 system. It's an easy to use system. That's pretty fun. So yeah, I would recommend it if you're looking for something different to do. And that's pretty much all I got to say for the Men in Black role-playing game right now. Thank you for joining me at a look at this game. And hopefully you'll join me next time where we'll talk about something else. Bye. Everywhere.